Did Aleister Crowley initiate us into a dimension of evil debauchery? Crowley was an English occultist, ceremonial magician, and writer. He died right around the end of World War II in 1947. His works and writings have gone on to influence many generations. No other occultist has influenced the entertainment industry greater than Aleister Crowley.
Mr. Crowley has been instrumental throughout music for before I was born. You know what I mean? Led Zeppelin, the Beatles. I think it was important for me to, reinstill that. If you didn't know that, if you missed that part, you know what I mean? If you missed that part of the culture of music in general, this beyond hip hop, but just music in general, he's had a big influence on the culture.
Fell into the trap of the black magic, just the Crowleyism of the times. It was a significant part of that middle point of the 70s, and I really got completely disoriented by all that. It was an awful, dreadful period for me.
The guitar, Jimmy Page.
Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page took a more serious interest than most. He studied Crowley closely. He collected Crowley's paintings and books.
I wrote about Aleister Crowley because in rock and roll, when at that point, I didn't know anything about Aleister Crowley. It kept coming up, this guy Crowley, and I read a little bit about him, and he was a pretty bizarre guy, I understand.
Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head? Oh, Mr. Crowley.
His wild sex, drugs, and magic attitude transformed into the sex, drugs, and rock and roll mantra. His most repeated line and philosophy, "Do what thou wilt," interpreted to mean that one should do as they please, has gone on to shape the minds of many. Apart from the religion he started, Thelema, based on the major mantra, his philosophy has also shaped the world towards a specifically anti-religious movement. He intended to deconstruct the major religions of the world and to institute his ideals of free will in the hearts and minds of the evolving age. But was all of this coming solely from him, or was he channeling his message from a sinister entity? His infamous Book of the Law, where the popular motto, "Do what thou wilt," comes from, we find some interesting prophetic utterings from Crowley. This book was channeled and dictated to him in Egypt for 3 days in 1904. Crowley claimed that the entity responsible for the channeled message was a strange god named Aiwass. The book opens by stating that every man and woman is a star. This is meant in a micro and macro cosmic sense. However, it is interesting that the more prominent followers of the Crowley-esque teachings are those of the entertainment industry who are known as stars. It is apparent that the entity Aiwass isn't speaking openly and generally to everyone, as is stated in line 10. "Let my servants be few and secret. They shall rule the many and the known." Crowley's work as a ceremonial magician has been questioned for helping usher in the licentious and immoral world we live in today. He has also been blamed for opening portals that may have called in the UFOs and ETs that followed shortly after his death. A major aspect of this theory surrounds his encounter with another entity he channeled that called itself Lamb. Crowley drew a portrait of this entity in 1917, and it has an unsettling similarity to what would be later known as the Gray Aliens. Turning to the Book of the Law in Aiwass, we are told just how one should worship this new god. In line 22, we are told, "To worship me, take wine and strange drugs, whereof I will tell my prophet, and be drunk thereof. Be strong, O man, lust, enjoy all things of sense and rapture. Fear not that any god shall deny thee for this." Where did Aiwass come from? Aiwass states in line 23, "I am alone. There is no God where I am. This is a pretty telling statement. To me, it sounds as if this being is somewhat trapped in a hidden dimension and could explain the many attempts by Hollywood and the scientific elite to tap into the subconscious mind and/or other dimensions to contact and release this cryptic god. Crowley himself in later writings has identified Aiwass with Satan or the devil. Many truthers have concluded that celebrities sell their soul to the devil for success. Interestingly, in line 42, Aiwass states, "I am powerful to protect my servant. Success is thy proof." Personal success, we are told, is the proof of Aiwass's power or reward for its servants. In line 24, we are told more about the success and nature of Aiwass's servants. "Behold, these be grave mysteries, for there are also of my friends who be hermits. Now think not to find them in the forest or on the mountain, but in beds of purple, caressed by magnificent beasts of woman with large limbs, and fire and light in their eyes, and masses of flaming hair about them. There shall ye find them." Aiwass frequently refers to one of his leading agents of the New Age, the Scarlet Woman. She represents the heralding of the New Age. In line 44, we read Aiwass's decree of her as stated here. "Let her raise herself in pride. Let her follow me in my way. Let her work the work of wickedness. Let her kill her heart. Let her be loud and adulterous. Let her be covered with jewels and rich garments, and let her be shameless before all men." This passage alone reflects the world we live in today, which centers around sexual depravity and pridefulness and a lack for self-control and respect. Aiwass declares in line 58 that "the keen and the proud, the royal and the lofty, ye are brothers." The proud stars who promote debauchery and lead the world astray are the workers of Aiwass. Aiwass, through his infectious priest, Crowley, has brought us all into the age of Cruelianity.
Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head? Mr. Crowley, did you talk to the dead? Your lifestyle to me seems so tragic, with the thrill of it all. You fooled all the people with magic. Yeah, you waited on Satan's call. Mr. Charming, did you think you were pure? Mr. Alarming, in nocturnal rapport, uncovering things that were sacred, manifest on this earth, conceived in the eye of a secret, escaped